you for joining us. You know, it's no longer news that the production of crude oil, which has been Nigeria's major source of revenue for many, many years, has dwindled and crashed, majorly because of price crash and, of course, activities of vandals. Little wonder then, the federal and subsequently state governments decided to diversify the economy. That decision has made them focus on agriculture, which of course is the main focus of this program, away from oil. My name is Minna Adobe Ukobasi. Once again, thank you for joining me. Today, we'll be taking a look at poultry. It promises to be all-inclusive, from the nursery to the sales points and possibly exportation. All you need to do is stick around. Poultry farming business is widely regarded as the fastest growing agricultural business in Nigeria, and this is because every Nigerian home consumes poultry products daily. There are over 180 million Nigerians who need poultry as meat and egg consumption. Wild ducks, turkey, guinea fowl, quail, etc. fall under poultry farming. Chicken is the most cultivated and demanded of all poultry. And since the ban on importation of poultry products, it has been impossible for existing farmers to meet up with the demands. The beauty of poultry farming business is that the educational or financial background of potential poultry farmers does not count, as one can start with the smallest amount possible and grow bigger. Time now to visit some poultry farms and get to know all the nitty-gritties of poultry farming and why it is a wise choice away from oil.
As you can see, these are the broilers. It's for meat particularly. We stock them here at the age of 1, which is day old, but their current age now is 9 days old. But before we brought them here, we first of all arrange the place, sweep the place, and wash them and disinfect the whole place with disinfectant and as well antivirus, so that disease and infection will not penetrate on them. And after that, we'll now put the wool shaving, which is the sawdust we are seeing before the arrival of the bird. Then after the bird must have arrived, we do the necessary thing. We give them the drugs, which include anti-stress, vitamin, and the antibiotics. So after then, we'll now give them their feed, which will start from the broiler starter. After, they will take the broiler starter for 6 weeks, which is a month and 2 weeks, before we'll give them growers. They will take the growers for 1 month. Then after the growers, we're now giving them finisher, which they will take till the time of harvesting.
Which is how many months?
Which is 3 months to 4 months. Then what you are seeing there are these ones. This is feeding drinking trough. There is feeding trough. This is the light, because they need light at the tender age. This is the stove, which we use and maintain the normal temperature that they require at the tender age. When the temperature is high, we have our thermometer here, where we know the temperature. If the temperature is too much here, we open the nylon there to allow ventilation coming in and going out. Why they need the temperature or the stove is to make them to have further as fast as possible to avoid cold and all the rest of them.
Yeah, this is our brooding house, and in the brooding house, what we do here is to raise young chicken from day 1 to about 4 weeks. What we do essentially here is to do the work of the mother hen. How the mother hen nurture the young hen, cover them up from cold, and then prevent them from predators. So you see here that the whole place is sealed up, so that the heat that we are giving will not escape, and you see that we are using white waterproof, so that the sunlight can come in for the chicken to see and be able to eat and drink. Then you will see this pot that you are seeing are charcoal pots, which is the source of heat. You can use electricity as a source of heat. You can use gas, you can use charcoal, you can use kerosene. But in this stage we are using charcoal as our source of heat. Now we have a way of knowing whether the place is too hot or cold by installing thermometer. We have a thermometer that reads the temperature of this room. We have about 4 of them here, and then that way we know whether the place is too hot or cold. Another way that we know whether the place is conducive for them or not, that the thermometer is holding there. So that thermometer is here, and it's just to check the temperature of the place. Another way that we know whether the place is hot or cold is that, I think you see the way the chicken are running around, it shows that they are good, they're in good mood. If the temperature of this place drops now, automatically you see all of them gathering around the source of heat. And once we see them clustering around the source of heat, we know that we are in trouble, and the temperature is dropping. The temperature of the chicks is about 40 to 41 degrees centigrade, while the temperature of normal room is 25 degrees centigrade. So if you don't heat up the place, the chicken at the higher temperature will be losing their body temperature to the environment, and they will be getting cold, and they will be dying. Okay? So, and at this stage now, you see that the food that they are giving them is powdery. This is broiler starter. I prefer using broiler starter because it's very rich, and it makes the chicken to grow fast. So that's why we are using it here. Then every morning when we come, we look around, we peep, and see. When you want to check whether they are cold or not, you don't open here, because when they hear any noise, they will pretend that everything is normal. So you look through the hole and see their conditions before you now come and do anyone. Then anyone that is dead, you pick up and then send to the vet. We'll send it to our clinic where we'll check. And once we have dead one like this, today we will not bother because maybe we have just lost 2 out of 5,000. We are having 5,000 chicks here. So if the mortality is high, we'll take the dead one to the office. We'll open them up, check the nose, check the eye, check also the key bone before we open them. We also check the vent, whether they are having diarrhea. If they are having diarrhea, the vent will be soiled. The feces will stick to it, and then we'll know that they are having diarrhea. Then we'll now open up, check all the organs, and we'll be able to know which disease or what is the cause of death, and then we'll be able to make appropriate prescription. So the brooding house is the foundation of the poultry, because this is where every day chicks that come into the farm firstly lands, and then from here they are nurtured to adulthood, to either adult broilers or adult layers are produced.
Our major job is to make sure that everything that has to do with the technology involved in raising birds, those are the things that we do supply. And we make bold to say that as technology has increased worldwide, Eslobo's farm is a fully technologically oriented farm. What I mean to say is that if you look at around you, you see that this is battery cage. We use battery cage here from 14 weeks. 14 weeks we cage our birds. Now, why do we need battery cage? The traditional, poultry farming engages what is called open pen. In the open pen, you have the beds on the ground. Then you can put litters for them so that the ground does not get wet as a result of their droppings. But with battery cage is an advancement over open pen technology. Battery cage technology has even gone beyond this. So we are starting from the primal, technological advancement that is even available now. Here you can see that the water they drink runs through the pipe. This pipe supplies to each of the boxes with the aid of those red things you are seeing. They are called nipples. Now at the touch of the nipple, they understand that when they touch this, water will come out. Immediately you touch it, the water gushes out. So what it does, it improves the life of the birds. It also reduces the chances of the birds getting infected with bacteria or even some other, very deadly diseases like salmonella. So we have the water. Then you can also put in their drugs. You can impute their drugs in those tanks that you see on the side. Then there's another overhead tanks on the top. So the water comes directly from that overhead tanks, feeds into these smaller tanks, then goes on the line of the cage. On the line of the cage. So each of the beds, in each of these boxes, you have two nipples. So they drink from there. Then here, this is the food trough, the feed trough. Once the feed are supplied in here, they can eat from here. And the mesh is designed in such a way that it's slopy. So immediately they lay, the egg rolls down to the egg receptor, which is called the egg tray. So you can see the egg here, which affords the attendants easy access to pick the egg, clean the troughs, you understand, and make sure that everything that they need to do on daily basis is easily done. So the battery cage, you can see that if you look at it, we have 4 beds in each of those boxes. Actually, the ISO 9001, which this cage belongs, allows birds to be in this 5 birds to be in this cage. But because Eslobos Farm is fully integrated and we want to do things in such a way that we give the best production, to our birds. So we are only putting 4 birds in each of the boxes. So which is very, very comfortable for the birds. So each of these birds now, as against like 75 square inch per bed, we have more than 75 square inch here, which is the ISO standard for this battery cage. So in Eslobos Farm, we I won't say we pride ourselves. It's just one of the best things that we do is to make sure that our products are given the right environment. We give them the right feeding. We give them the right water, and you can see that we are here. Now you came here with the understanding that you are going to cover your noses, that the place is going to smell, but rather I can see that you have opened up your nose mask because it's not smelling. Now what it means is that it's hygienic. You can see hygiene in practice here. So then when you look at the sizes of the egg, you can see that the size is the moderate medium size of egg here. Now in the Niger Delta area, because of the geographical location here, now people complain that eggs are fatter in some places, like in Enugu, because of the relief. In Enugu, you have the altitude is higher than in Port Harcourt, in the Niger Delta, where Eslobos Farm is actually located. In Enugu, the heat is not as much as we have here.
Very
yeah,
fat
so some
egg.
are still some are still very fat. Like this one now, this is extra large. If you break this egg, you are going to see 2 yolks. Two yolks inside of this egg. These are extra large eggs, and these are the kind of things that we produce in Eslobos Farm. Now we have a trench here. The idea is we want the droppings to be further off from the cage. Now once you have a trench like this, the odor, the ammonia gas does not easily get to this. Then every other day, this place is clean. I think by tomorrow they are going to clean this. So they will have to apply sawdust or wood shavings so that it dries the droppings. Immediately they make contact with it, so it cakes off. Instead of you having it's very watery, and by the time it's watery, house fly. Flies will come, lay their eggs there. Before you know it, you have maggots, the larvae. You understand? So it's cleaned regularly, and that's why we can stay here without covering our noses, like I said before. I would say that poultry farming is capital intensive. At the same time, it depends on the technique. Like I said earlier, the technique that you want to involve yourself in. Now, most of this material, like the battery cage, they are imported. Some of those plastics, other things that we can use, especially for open pen, they are locally available. Then there are other, depending on where you get your knowledge, there are other things that we can use that are very, very cheap, that are handy. For example, if you want to do open pen, like what we have here, an open pen is just like a hall where you have the beds on the floor. You understand? They lay in, wooden boxes. You make the boxes on the side. The beds go there to lay. Your feeder, you can make your feeder out of bamboo. You can make your drinker out of bamboo. So it depends on the level of involvement that the starter want to get involved in. Everybody cannot afford money like Eslobo's farm, and do something so big as we can see here.
Before starting a profitable poultry business, there are factors to consider. One is poultry type and/or breed. These include ducks, geese, chicken, guinea fowl, turkey, quail, and ostrich. But chicken is the safest and most profitable poultry venture. Breeds include eggs, layers, meat production breed, example broilers, etc. Feed production and hatchery are other key areas of poultry value chain. Location and hazards are very important areas of poultry farming business, as they ensure growth and success of any business. Location is associated with environmental conditions like rainfall, sunshine, topography, and vegetation. Poultry farms should be situated in an area not exposed to extreme climatic conditions. Hazards include thieves, vandals, insects, disease outbreak, pollution, wild animals, etc. Next is equipment. You should opt for the latest feeding, watering, and lighting equipment, which will save you extra labor costs. For poultry health, you need a good veterinary doctor who can visit your farm at regular intervals and is approachable during crisis periods. Keep us scheduled for vaccinations and medications in consultation with the veterinary doctor.
I'm Dr. Raphael Awotunde. I'm a veterinary surgeon by profession, and I've been in the veterinary practice for about 32 years now. This chicken, actually, we gave them to this farm when they were day old, and we made a vaccination program that is routinely given. So once those vaccines are given, and they are good quality vaccines, we are not likely to have problems. And then we also maintain our biosecurity. The boys that are on the farm are properly trained, and they know what to do at one time or the other. The vaccine starts from about 2 weeks, and every week until these chicken are about 20 weeks, we give them one vaccine or the other. And these vaccines some of them are viral vaccines, some of them are bacterial vaccines, while some of them are protozoa vaccine, like coccidiosis vaccine, for instance, is protozoa. But we have various stages of time when we give to them. And I must say here that the veterinary aspect, that is the medical aspect of it, is the cheapest aspect of poultry. If the poultry are not sick, you don't spend much money. The greatest money you spend is in the feed, and then in purchase of the equipment like the cage and others. But the veterinary aspect is very minimal. It's only when the chicken are sick that you are now spending money all the time to take care of them. But once you prevent like this one, if you are taking care of about 1,000 layers, you are expected to spend about 3 million naira till they start laying. And the veterinary aspect, they are maybe about 200,000.
Finally, to the most important factor, which is finance. First, determine how much you require to rear chicks from day old to ready to be sold for meat or start production of eggs. That should enable you know how many birds you can afford to start with.
If you have the land, you can start with 200,000, 300,000, depending on the number of birds you want to raise.
The challenges facing poultry farmer. I have been in Rivers State for about 32 years, so I'm going to talk mainly of what is happening here. In Rivers State, the first challenge a farmer faces with time is that the farmer opens up the bush, puts in borehole. It's a very isolated place, nobody goes there, and as soon as people see that the poultry is there, vehicle moves in and out, people start buying land. Eventually, after about 10 years, they will come and say the poultry is smelling, and they start putting pressure, paying bribe to environmental and all this to disturb and worry the man, forgetting that the man was the one that opened up the bush. He was the first person in that place. He has invested all his money to open up the place. And that is one thing that I would really want Rivers State government or whosoever is in charge to do something about.
Even with the increasing number of poultry farmers constantly churning out poultry products in our markets, meat vendors still indulge in importation of poultry products, even against the ban on them.
The major problem is the sales of the products. We even thank God for this government that put a ban on frozen chicken, and they put a stay on it. Before, we can't sell our broilers. But for the eggs now, a lot of farmers are selling below cost. You use a bag of feed that is sold for 3,500 to produce 4 crates of eggs, and you are selling the 4 crates of eggs for 700 naira. That is just about 3,000 something, 3,800. You use 3,005 to produce 3,800. You have not fed yourself, you have not given, you have not paid for water, you have not paid your worker. How do you break even in poultry? So, but government can do a way that tons upon tons of eggs product is imported to this country every month as egg powder. Nestle needs it, Cadbury needs this, all these people that produce Bonvita and all this, they need it. People that produce air cream, they need it. So governments will encourage people, individual money bags, to set up an egg powder factory where they can mop up the excesses, and then the farmer will start enjoying, and then put a ban or put high tariff on the imported this, so that the farmer can make progress.
look at the brighter side of life. You can start poultry with ordinary 50,000 naira, even 40,000, even 30, as the case may be. Just look at the processes involved and let us learn to appreciate our own locally made foods and goods. Of course, that will be a big one and a healthy break to our markets, to our homes, to our finances, an increase to our finances, and of course the economy in general. Thank you for being with us today on Away from Oil. Let's meet on another side of the farm to discuss another important aspect of life away from oil. See you again. Bye.